thank you for having us here. So I'm just going to dive right into it.
Yeah.
What is the next step now that both teams have fielded their members?
One is that we are not comfortable with the team that was selected by the other team for the reason that you cannot pick a person from the negotiating team to be on your side. It doesn't show good faith, and you'd never go to these negotiations with the dirty hearts. Two, we had also said that even before we sit, the cost of living must be addressed in a manner, in a meaningful manner, and a manner Kenyans will appreciate. Zero attention has been given by the people in government to date. Three is we have said categorically an area that we are not ready to budge, that the bipartisanship, though we have picked 7 members of parliament from within parliament, will be conducted outside parliament. We do not this process bogged down by the standing orders or any other rules, because this is a political process that must exist outside the law as we know it, but within some regulations that guides negotiations. For the reason that if the members of parliament had seen it necessary to get into these negotiations, they have that chance, opportunity 24/7. They would have picked it on the floor. This is a matter generated from outside parliament. We must agree on it outside parliament and then take whatever it is we have agreed upon to within parliament. And because we are seeing the dilly-dallying of the UDAS brigade in the whole of this process, we are out on Sunday to let Kenyans know of where we are, the dangers we are seeing, and we will agree with them whether it is yet another opportunity or another opportune time to go back for Maandamano. When we go for Maandamano, we do not want police brutality, which we will be addressing on Sunday. We have very many Kenyans, because even one are many, who've been buried as a result of having come out on the Maandamano. They were killed by the Kenyan police.
Taking you back, you have mentioned the fact that you will not sit down with anybody in the committee who was on your side but now is on the other side. And we have the example of the Rebel MP, Adan Kenyan, and Edwin Sifuna said that this is a red flag, and you have said that it is acting in bad faith. So, what next if you will not sit with him?
We suspended Maandamano because they sent overtures to our side and said they are ready to discuss. We told them in good faith, we'll discuss. When you pick an individual whom you have been into bed with to kill the spirit of multipartyism in this country, and it is one of the issues we want addressed during the bipartisanship, you are actually saying you are playing games with Kenyans. Unaweza kuja kwa mkutano na mwenye amefuja sheria, muongee mambo ya kutengeneza ile sheria ambayo ameituvia vibaya na njia ipi. Sisi tunasema hivi na Wakenya wanasema hivi. Kama umeamua kuhama chama chako uende kingine, rudi kwa mwananchi, pigua kula, uende kwa hicho chama. Hatuwezi kuingia kwa mazungumzo na wale ambao wako ndani ya Azimio kama wamechaguliwa upande wa Kenya Kwanza. That's a bare minimum. Yes.
And how will you ensure that Jubilee walks away with a fair share from these consultations? Because we had, a situation where during the parliamentary committee selection of the members, you did decry that there was kind of an imbalance. So how will you ensure that Jubilee and ODM will be equally considered?
We have 42 communities in this country. We have a committee of 7. It will require our trust and confidence with the 7 who will be sitting. And again, that is just one layer. There will be other layers of technical teams that will be forming the 7. So I am certain that through the process, our things, our issues, the issues that as a party would want to put on the table as Jubilee will be considered. One. Two, it's also important to know, even as we may want to complain that a given community is not on the table or a region, it is also important for everybody to look at the quality of the individuals they elected to parliament. Two, on the loyalty of those individuals you elected to parliament. It does not pay to have a person sitting in such a committee while he is actually a sellout. You'd rather rely on another from another area. Yes. The chairman of the Council of Azimio is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He said that he is retired, but not tired. It will be an act of irresponsibility of any leader of his stature and his experience, his wisdom, for him to just sit idly without having any concern of the goings on of a country that he led for 10 years. So how he is getting involved or what he is doing about it, I do not know. But I know as a responsible Kenyan, a person who has led this country for 10 years successively, he certainly is concerned about the nature and the happening or the direction of this country. At whatever point he thinks is necessary to come out and perhaps offer some advice, I'm sure he will. But it is also, I'm sure again, even if Laila was to reach out for advice, he will not withhold it. Why should he? So he's available. He's retired but not tired. Yes.
Okay. And now back to the Northland story. I don't know if you saw online that there were some stories going about that Uhuru reached out to Ruto to plead that his businesses should be left alone after the whole, fire and the whole attack. Is this true? Do you have any knowledge of this? And also, I would like you to divulge further. You stated that you will go sometime next week to plant trees. Will the former retired president be joining you?
We have very many people from the Mount Kenya community who have been asking whether they can have an opportunity to go, and not just the issue of planting trees. Uhuru is not relying on the 1 or 2, 3 seedlings that we are going to plant, but it's the act of demonstrating to Kenya and the whole world that those who did that were just goons hired by the people who are in government, clearly. And also to let Kenyans know that when the police officers decide to withhold that security, when the whole saga had been reported to them, the danger that is ahead of us, when you have individuals of the nature that we have in office who order police officers not to respond to those kind of requests to offer security. So we have requests from Mount Kenya people, the elderly, really, you'll be surprised. The number of people who wants to come with goats and sheep. Not that they can be able to replace the 1,000 that were slaughtered, but just to let people know that is not the way things are done. And I think there is a scheme. There is a scheme by some very evil-minded Kenyans. I hope not in office today, but I think they are, who are now inciting people from different corners of this country to start saying, this lad, you can actually see it all of a sudden. This is likely to end up being a civil war. We will be at Northlands to tell Kenyans it is not the direction to go. Not because it's Uhuru's, no, but because that act happened there. With Uhuru or without him, the message needs to go out to Kenyans and to the community of Mount Kenya. And young people your age, weka bidii, ufurahie ili Mwenyezi Mungu atakubariki naye. Usianze kumwaga mate kwa sababu ya kazi ya wengine. Don't listen to stories. Work hard. Eat from your sweat, not the sweat of others. Yes.
And now, finally, I do want to ask you, do you now feel that you have cornered Ruto? And how are you going to ensure that these talks end up being successful?
We are not in a business of cornering William. We are in a business of ensuring that we have looked at the server. What do they say? Not because of last year, but because in seeing what the servers have, we will be able to address the electoral malpractices that have been there since the year 2007.
But that is one thing that they remain adamant they will not do. They will say that they cannot open the servers.
It is upon them. We are also saying that any common sense individual will say, if I won, why are you doubting my win? This is the evidence. It is here. But if you are concealing the evidence, then you are guilty. Then you are guilty. And we are calling them out on that issue. Open the server. Hakuna maneno ingine. All this hurabaru that is around would have been resolved if they opened the server.
Is it their
And we are
mandate to
saying
open the server?
it is the mandate of Kenyans. Anything we do as Kenyans is meant for the good of this country. And if withholding it create a crisis, then the better thing is not withhold it. And it does not matter what the law says. Remember, the law is supposed to keep us peaceful. If it is not keeping us peaceful, we need to look for the peace, whichever way that we can. Yes.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa.
Asante.
Thank you.